I'll share my screen once you're able to see the Word document. See yes in chat box. Is it visible?
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Okay. Yeah. Thanks. So yeah. So as we mentioned, so the permit should not be issued directly to the contractor. So we have issued through the concerned employee who is involved in that activity. Then equipment tag number. So it is nothing but the equipment name and also designated number, name of the equipment master list, and also easy identifiable by the all people involved in the work execution. So that is why we mention area, location, and also specific equipment number, so that there will not be any confusion. So why it is required basically? So is there any couple of equipments which are appearance is same? I mean, same kind of equipment, same kind of motors, or same kind of instruments. If the number is not there on that equipment, there is a confusion. Instead of working on equipment A, they may chance to work on equipment B if there is no identification. Even specific limitations of the work permit, we have to mention that also in the additional remarks or additional precautions, and also specific instructions to the permit holders, if any. Then we have another section, job description. So we have to give the job description. So what kind of activity they are performing, and the name of the contractor. So who is performing an activity? Sometimes our internal department also will be the chance. If the name of the contract, if it is a contractor, we have to mention the name. Otherwise, you can mention the which department or which section of people performing that activity. Then nature of the job. So this is very helpful based on the nature. So whether it is in a hard work, height work, or excavation, or confined space entry, or vessel entry, electric work permit, based on the nature of the job. So it help us to decide appropriate precautions and measures to be taken during the work progress. So if it is an excavation, so if you
Excuse
go
me.
more deeper and deeper, sorry.
Actually, if any SOP is there, is it required to take this work permit?
Definitely. Without SOP, you can't perform anything, right? Basically, it's the same way how we are saying the code of practice. Similar way, you should have an SOP based on your organization. There, you have to mention all these conditions, like number of permits, what is mean by cold work. So, under the cold work, what are the various activities in your organization will fall under this cold work. Same way you define for all other work permits as well, like hard work, height work, etc. Then you will
Okay, sir,
define
I
who is,
understood. I
sorry.
understood about this, but if it is regular activity, so that SOP, one SOP is okay, na? Everything, every time we need to take this work permit.
For regular activities, no permit is required. For example, your production operations, you
Yeah.
need not to take any permit. For example,
Okay.
housekeeping activity, you need not to take any permit. If you're in a chemical company, you will take the samples. Once the raw material comes in, you need not
Mm-hmm.
to take any permit. Or store
Engineering
activities.
work is there. Engineering works is there. Continuous hard works are going to take place.
Yeah,
So,
that is happens even in your workshop, right?
yeah.
Yeah, that will not cover under work permit system.
Okay, okay, okay. Right, right.
That is where we have to draw a thin line. Which are the activities should follow under work permit? Which are the activities it should not required to follow a work permit system?
Like irregular activities are
Yes,
non-routine work.
regular. Yes,
Right.
regular, non-regular, routine,
Yeah.
non-routine. Like that,
Yes, yes.
we have to define. Yes, that's where
Right, right.
in the procedure we'll mention those details.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks. Then following that, we have checklist, as we see in various checkpoints. Basically, it is a process equipment normally handles hazardous substances under various operating conditions like high temperature, high pressure. Then job equipments, then potential hazardous presence, and also sometimes it depends on nature of activity. Okay. Sometimes in the case of involved a road repair or any excavations, etc., by the emergency service may be hindered, and also it is necessary that those services are informed before such work is carrying out. It is an example that in case of any excavation work is happening, in the same way there is a fire hydrant line which is passing through, or any electrical equipment is passing through, or any uh, fire alarm system cable routing is passing through. So those situations we have to inform them to the concerned department. An authorized procedure should be in place for the work involving hydrosetting, hot tapping, excavation, etc. So authorized procedures in the sense somebody asked, for example, complaints of the procedures or execution of the job. So JSA, HIRA, or sometimes method statements. So each company will have their specific nomenclature for these documents. So according to your organization, you can keep those procedures in the work area. Next, before issuing the work permit, the authorized, which means the area in charge, must ensure that the equipment or the area involved is safe to proceed with the work and no hazards could be created on the work to be done. So before issuing a permit, the authorized person has to ensure whatever the work activity we are allocated for the people to perform, it is free of hazards. And also following checklist identifies the various preparations required to carry out the work safely. So in the checklist itself, first you will identify the hazards. Following that, you will have the safety precautions. If those precautions are not sufficient based on the nature of the job or type of activity, then you can write additional precautions following to that safety precautions section, so that they will follow all those instructions. Then isolation and blinding. So here we'll get the power isolations, then any fluid isolations or any hydraulic energy or stored energy. All those things will get isolated in this section. By closing isolation valve tight shut and also keeping drain vent valves open between the equipment and isolation valves. If your activity is performing on a pipeline, so these kind of isolations will perform. So we'll shut off the walls, then we will open the drain, so that in case of any fluid which is there within the valve, that also get diluted. By closing the double block walls and also keeping between a bleed system open, so there isn't a double block valves will be there, so it will have between pipeline. In between we'll have also a bleed, so that there is a provision for taking out of the fluids which is there between the walls, so that we can completely take out the material or chemical within the walls. Okay, this is about isolation procedure. Then isolation method in item A and B. So as we see in here, so these are the procedure. Effective process isolation have to be ensured by issuer depending upon nature and also duration of the work. So effective isolation, he has to check physically whether the isolation is effective or not. Then issuer should decide whether the isolation is adequately safe or not. It is also a responsibility of the issuer to ensure that whatever the isolation process they have taken care, is it sufficient or not. Job involving hot work or entry into confined space, positive isolation by intersection or slip blinds, and also physical disconnection and blinding live ends are necessary. In case of any hard work which is involved or entry into confined space, especially nitrogen on the confined spaces, there are incidents in the pharmaceutical companies. They will definitely physically remove the connection with the reactor instead of putting a dummy. Rest of the lines they do a dummy, but nitrogen line they will physically disconnect. Then we'll have isolation tags, do not operate tag. This is again a LOTO, where we'll inform, or where we physically drop a tag near the valve or near the operation switch, so that the people will aware we are not supposed to on, or we are not supposed to activate that specific switch. Then the isolation should carry isolation tag mark do not operate, and also a record of the tagging and the removal should be maintained. So record of the tagging, in somewhere we should have a track of this record. Okay, who has performed this LOTO, and when it is performed, and when it is removed. And area operator or issuer is responsible for securely attaching isolation tags to the equipment and walls, and also for removing the same after the work is over. So area operator or issuer. Area operator may be, for example, I can say equipment operator. Issuer will be the area in charge. He should also ensure that okay, the LOTO is performed, and also the tags also placed on the equipment. And it is not about in the initial stage, and after removal also you should ensure that completion of the work, whether those tags are removed or not. Then depressurization, it is nothing but the jobs in the pipelines or any tanks etc. Operating department will arrange depressurizing, draining, cleaning, and also purging. Purging is nothing but purging with water, purging with steam. It is simply applying in the tank or filling. All the equipment must be depressurized and also made free of hydrocarbon, toxins, flammable gases by following the approved procedures. For the these activities also, definitely you should have a procedure how we can depressurize, or how we can clean these specific equipments, tanks, etc. Okay. Then electrical isolations and restoration. So the procedure for electrical work permit to be followed, and electrical work permit under within the date to be mentioned at the appropriate place in the permit, and tagging to be done by the all agencies as per the procedure. So when I say all agencies, sometimes in one equipment there are multiple people will involved: electrical people, instrumentation people, sometimes project people, and also mechanical people. So all these people will be involved. So everybody should have their own lock and also a tag. And mechanically blocked to avoid rotation, sometimes they will put mechanical locks as well, so that it should not move accidentally. Okay. Then use of non-sparking tools, again wherever there is a chance of flammable atmosphere which is present, in those areas we should definitely use these non-sparking tools. Again, portable fire extinguishers, necessary temporary crossover or barricading should be provided to prevent the work persons falling into drains or sewers or work permit during the work. In case of any floor openings which are there we have to ensure that definitely we should have a hard barricade, so that we can avoid fall of people into the drains or all sewers or pits. Then portable fire extinguishers, so whether we wherever the hard work is carrying out, appropriate fire extinguisher should be made available in the work area. Then running water hose. So if the hard work is carried out in a hazardous area, a fire water hose connected to the fire hydrant to be kept ready, so that it can be used in case of any emergency situation arises. Apart from fire extinguisher, a water hose also should be kept available. Then return earthing cable should be provided, and also welding cable should be insulated. This is for the welding activity where the earthing connections are required. Okay. Then we have ladders. So where no permanent platforms are available, we should definitely use the ladders instead of using equipments. So temporary or flexible movable platforms or scaffolding must be provided. In no case, make a shift arrangement like drums, etc., should be used. Specify the appropriate type of ladder to be used as per the work at height procedure. In the work at height procedure itself, we have to mention what type of ladder supposed to be used during performing an activity where there is no fixed platforms, because every equipment will not have a fixed platform. So in those cases, we have to specify what kind of ladder should be used. Then scaffolding should be used certified before the use of suitable identification tags to be provided. So scaffolding is certified for use. So what are the different tags we can see in the scaffolding? Anybody seen this tagging system? Scaffolding tags. Any guess?
Uh, Ready for use,
Mm-hmm.
which is checked by the concerned person, authorized person, and he is then the machan is ready for to use. Like that, the sticker is pasted on scaffolding.
Okay.
They have all the checks. After complete checks and he's satisfied, then he is permit to work there.
Okay. Okay. Fine. Good. So basically, they'll have three types of color coded tags: uh, yellow, red, and green. Green is red to work. Red is not supposed to enter. I mean, not supposed to work. And yellow will be sometimes it will have an with a additional precaution with a fall protection. They can go and perform the activity. It will be given by the certified scaffolding supervisors. Even the scaffolds also will be erected by the trained scaffolders. Okay. Then uh, radioactive structure. If isolation is not possible, then the source must be physically removed. In case of any, if you are working any with any radioactive sources which are present in your work area. Then, in case of any gas cutting or welding or grinding operations, additional fire precautions measures like wetting the nearby area by spraying water or any wet fire blankets can be specified. It is about in case of any fire or hot work is activities happening. Basically, we wet the surrounding area so that it will not going to ignite. In case of any dry leaves or any some sort of grass or any material, etc. Then escape route should be checked and also cleared. So before any work permit is issued, especially for the hard work, confined space, vessel entry, the issuer to ensure that the safe escape route is available. There should not be any obstacles or hindrance in the escape route, because doing or performing in hard work, there might be a chance of any issues can arise. So at that case, people should be well aware about how they can escape from that area or from that location, so that in case of any emergency they can easily escape. Sometimes our emergency exits are used for store rooms, or they keep all the finished goods materials or any unwanted materials. So it is not supposed to be. Here also, the issuer has to check whether the escape route is free from obstruction or not. Then ventilation should be ensured. Isolation, blinding, or nearby nitrogen line is ensured. So how the ventilation is provided for, especially for the confined space entry, we should definitely provide the continuous air supply, because of continuous occupancy, even more number of people enter there also, because of our basic nature of breathing continuously, there will be a chance of increase of carbon dioxide presence. CO2 presence will be higher than the oxygen percentage. Then for a proper illumination, so again 24 volts flame proof hand lamp. So why it is only 24 volts? It will not generate so much heat. It can able to ignite the flammable mixture which is present within the vicinity. Then after completion of preparation of vessel entry, OK to enter tag is to be displayed by the issuer on manhole. So OK to enter, which means yes, this confined space or this vessel is out of danger, a people can enter. Then standby person or fireman. So a standby person is nothing but who is going to be a track. A trained standby person must be always available at manhole of the tank during the confined space entry, and the requirement of standby fireman is to be decided by the control room or shift in charge. One person will be there, standby person, who will be monitoring the people who entered in the confined space. Then regarding the firemen, it is up to us, because for all the confined space activities, the fireman is a not mandatory, because if there is no hot work is happening within the confined space or in the confined space, fireman is not required. They will decide based on the nature of activity. Then personal protective equipment. So PPEs, all the employees are required to wear the safety helmets or safety goggles, etc. And additional PPEs are to be specified by the issuer depending upon nature of work and also hazards involved in the work activity. Okay. Then full body double lifeline safety harness. So it is specified in case of persons are required to work height of 1.8 meters and above, and also unprotected surfaces or structures or any fragile roofs. Double body lifeline and a safety harness. Body protection. So again, PVC suits or aluminum glass fiber suits, PVC suit or hood or cold suits. These are the full body covers we used to say. Some of these with have airline. Some of them will have aluminized glass firewoods for protection against the excessive heats, and the PVC suits for protection against the potential splashes or chemicals. Then foot or leg protection, which is about the safety shoes. Then we have airline mask or SCBA cartridge gas mask. It depends on nature of the activity. Then when I say respiratory protection is also required, whether the work environment is inert or oxygen concentration is less than 20%. So when the oxygen percent is less than 20%, I'll go with the SCABA. Even when the oxygen percentage is less, you should not use any cartridge mask apart from SCBA line, or you can use airline mask. Airline is nothing but continuous breathing airline supply. Cartridge mask is not suitable for the use in the work environment deficient in the oxygen. Yes, this we have already covered. And persons required to use respiratory equipment must be trained and also validated. So whenever you are issuing any specific PPE, the people should be well aware of. It is not mean that okay, मैं तो दे दिया, so he is not able to use the PPE, then there is no use. When you are issuing a PPE, whatever it is, sometimes helmet, even shoes, they use the way or the way they like. It is not supposed to be. Sometimes cartridge mask or half face mask or full face mask, if the people are not aware about how to staple that mask, is there any gap in between the face and the mask, then also due to the pressure difference, the gas can leak, or it can the oxygen can escape from the mask, or sometimes the the chemical also can enter inside the mask. So we have to train them properly. And dust mask is specified where the persons are likely to be exposed to the hazardous dust or any fibrous dust, I mean the physical dust. Then gas test. So here we do a permit issuer for carrying out the jobs covered under hot or work permit, work under vessel entry or entry into any excavated pits or any vehicle entry inside the plant area. There we have to perform the gas test. It is proposed to be carried out gas tests for hydrocarbons content within a 5-meter radius of the location for any welding jobs, including drain vessels or close to flange joints, valves, glands, or adjacent equipments. Within 5-meter radius, we have to perform this gas test, especially for the uh, hot work. We have to do LEL. So these are the levels they have mentioned. Oxygen minimum 19.5%. It should be there if you're working entering any confined space. Hydrocarbon content LEL, it should be 0. Then toxic content below threshold limit. So what is 3 LV threshold limit? Threshold limit calculated for how many hours? Anybody? Any guess? Threshold limit. Or STEL, short term exposure limit. Or we can also have PLV, permissible exposure limit. Even we have IDLH situations. No problem. Even it is wrong also, it is completely all right. You can guess.
Permissible limit 0%, madam. 0 ppm, sir.
Sorry?
0 ppm, sir. Permissible limit.
0 ppm. Okay. That is also, yes. So basically they are suggesting less than a PLV or TLV. So permissible exposure limit or threshold limit value, which is nothing but they will calculate for 8 hours of duration. So I can say example of 5 ppm
Which one,
within
sir?
8
PLV
hours
and
of,
PLV, madam.
yeah. They both will
Okay, tell me,
calculate for
sir.
8 hours of duration. If an
Oh, okay.
employee, if he is exposing for 2 ppm for total entire 8 hours of duration, it is fine. Those limits are called as threshold limit value or permissible limit values. If an employee, if I say 5 ppm, his maximum exposure limit is 15 minutes, then that threshold we call it as short term exposure limit. Within 15 minutes, if he is exposing for more than 5 ppm, it is hazardous to him, it is danger to him. He can be go to a hospital or he can be fatal also. And there is another situation, IDLH, immediate danger to life and health. IDLH, you are not supposed to take even not even a single breath. There you have to completely go with SCBA. Okay.
Sir, before
Yep.
enter this area, we can take the permit, and we have used the reciprocity system, the like SCABA. Or it depends upon the which type of industries provide PPAs. Then
Yep.
after that you can enter that area. Na? Without PP, no one can enter this area. This is dangerous
Yes.
area.
Correct. So when we will understand it is dangerous, until unless you are not doing any testing, you will not understand, because
Yeah.
the
Yes, sir.
situations are not. I mean, those are not visible hazards. Those are invisible hazards. So when we say hazards, we can project it out by doing the gas test, so that we'll understand the situation. Accordingly, we choose the respective PPAs, and also some other precaution. Sometimes we do a purging, we do an again additional steam wash or any hot water cleaning, or sometimes we leave it for a whole day with uh, supplying the fresh air so that the contaminants will go out. Like that we do, and finally we give additional safety PPs as well.
Sir, in chemical industry, I am not the chemical industry person, but my point of view, if you want to work some particular area, then you want to check the alleles.
Yes,
In allele there is oxygen, hydrocarbons, and carbon dioxide, like different type of chemicals. Suppose there is a risk,
Ah,
then before you enter that area, you can be wear the respirator first. That is PPE. Then you can check it. Then you can understand
yes,
the what is the actual situation there.
yes. It differ, Lakshmi Das ji. For example, in
Uh,
a production area, when I take the chemical factory itself, when I enter the production area, there I do a vessel entry permit. In the near the vessel entry permit, I will do from the top of the vessel. I need not to enter inside the vessel. I'll do from the top. In that case, I may need not to have any respiratory. But in some other cases, if you are entering any tank farm area, so before entering the tank farm area, in case of any such situations, you can check and you can enter. There, I'll go with my mask or respirator. Then only I can go and perform an activity. Sometimes they do activities or emergency shutdowns. In such cases, for doing this gas testing, also they will go with SCBA, self-contained
it
breathing
depends
operator.
upon, yeah, it depends
Yeah,
upon the
it depends
situation,
upon
right?
situation. Yes, you are completely right.
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
sir, that time checked also H2S CO is also. H2S
Yes,
and
yes,
CO, carbon monoxide.
yes, yes. Hydrogen sulfide, if I'm not wrong, H2S.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Sir, both are in 0 ppm, sir. That taken. Yeah.
LEL will completely say 0 ppm. Oxygen minimum it is
LEL 0%, sir.
19.5 percentage.
Percentage. LEL lower
Yeah.
explosive is taken 0%, sir.
Yes.
Oxygen is 19.5 to 20
Minimum
sir.
19.5. If it is below 19.5, we
Below,
are not supposed to allow anybody to enter. It
up
should
to
be above.
23%, sir. No issue.
Maximum it will show 23 within the limit. If it is above 23, it is again oxygen enrichment we called. In such
Hmm.
cases, we are not supposed to allow any hot works at
Sir,
that
before
situations.
entering, sir, one doubt, sir. Before
Mhm.
enter the vessel space to confined space, which checked means mainly checked. What checked, sir? Oh,
We do all these gas tests, oxygen, even CO, HTS, even LEL. All
mm,
these four parameters we check. And also sometimes we
uh,
may see for physical contaminants, any chemical particles near the surrounding area, etc. Also we'll check.